17,500 emails that she lied about turning over. The server wiped. Within weeks of there being a report that she had a private server, it was wiped. She thought that C, which stands for classified, stood for cookie or something, which stands for classified. She thought that drone strikes are not classified. She said that the reason she used this private server is for convenience, and that she only had one device. She used 13 Blackberries, let me finish, and 5 iPads. At least she doesn't just stick to either Blackberry or iPad. This is somebody who is absolutely disqualified from becoming president. They destroyed Blackberries with hammers in the State Department. That's not what won the presidency.
Actually,
Evan, hold on. Can you fact check that? Hang on, Evan Perez. Hammers, fact check that for me, please, on the fly.
Yes, they did, Brooke. As you mentioned, there were 13 devices, mobile devices, and 5 iPads that the FBI said that, in some way were used with her private email server, and they did, in some cases, just destroy them with hammers when they were done using them.
I love how indignant she is. She's like, hold up. Can you fact check that? They used hammers, and he's like, yeah, they actually did do that, though. She's, like her face.
Yeah, that whole story is going to be moot by now because none of these kids know what the hell a BlackBerry is.
I've got one somewhere. I've just found it in one of these drawers when I was moving everything over here, cleaning out.
Although government still uses. Sorry.
Welcome to the new pad.
Nice.
Looks nice.
You got the OnlyFans bed back there.
Yes. That's the point.
Justin's going to be doing some OnlyFans later.
See, that's why he's got the good lighting. He's got to have the good lighting for those
for his OnlyFans account.
Yeah.
See, really though, I feel like OnlyFans, you probably don't want the best lighting. For most of these people, it's probably better off with a few shadows here and there. You just can't tell.
Yeah, leave some mystery, leave some things to, yeah.
It's better that way.
Yeah, a lot of airbrushing and filters. You don't want people to see you don't want it to be super well lit.
Nope, you definitely don't.
What?
So will they even need Blackberries and iPads and all of this stuff now that they can just let AI handle all of these things for them?
I don't know. I know, but I know that the government still uses Blackberries.
I mean, why? BlackBerry was innovative. It was cutting edge at the time. It was you could do all of your stuff on your BlackBerry, but now that's literally every single phone. There is no.
Is BlackBerry still a thing?
Well, I mean, they're still a company, but from what I understand, the last time I looked at BlackBerry, they completely changed what they're doing. They're trying to be a cybersecurity company now, which may be why the government would be working with them, I guess.
Yeah, right.
Their stock crashed pretty hard, didn't it?
I feel I mean, it's cratered.
Nothing right now.
But the reason is because it's completely shifted away from making phones, and now they're doing this cybersecurity stuff, and I think they do have a couple government contracts, which I mean that makes sense.
Yeah.
So
why would you need 13 devices, man? Wouldn't you get confused? If I had 2 devices, I'd get them confused like crazy.
I mean, the guys running drugs though, that's where you got to give them credit. They can keep track of their 13 devices. I couldn't do it. I could not run
that must be what
Coke Empire.
They have to have enough devices to get different to have all these different ops going on at one time. So
do you think one of them has all the pictures of all the people that they've offed?
Oh, I mean, they probably can't keep it in one place. They probably have to distribute it. Here's here's the files from John, and here's the files from this guy or that guy, and then here's the phone with the actual Epstein footage.
Only the Clintons really would keep that. I think And Epstein probably kept it in like a little, envelope that he had. It's now.
So what's the current status of Epstein Island?
It's now called Clinton Island.
But I mean, like everybody knows where the island is. Did it ever get raided? Like, did they bring shit back? Like, what happened to the shit that they found there? Like,
it did get raided. But
are we just pretend this place doesn't exist anymore?
It doesn't exist anymore.
They just revamped it. They updated they updated the decorating, the pictures on the wall, the upholstery, and they're just gonna start over. No, it was tacky. They had all this stuff from the 80s left over. They needed to redo it.
Yeah, Epstein wasn't with the times, right? Like, he couldn't get with the Zoomer style.
Nobody likes modern art anymore.
They updated the paintings to like Netanyahu bombing his own country.
Instead of the.
Well, didn't what's her name there? Giselle?
George Bush, like that George Bush photo is hilarious. So like he has the Epstein, the fact that Epstein had the photo
paper airplanes. Well, and then the Clinton picture of him in the dress or the painting. Like, dude, that shit's crazy. Who painted those? That's what I want to know. Is who painted that stuff?
I mean, it's pretty impressive. Like,
he hired a painter to do those. Like, who is the person that painted those? That'd be great.
Did he hire somebody? Maybe he just had some.
I think those are
maybe one of his slave girls.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Oh, that's true. I didn't think about that.
I mean, one of them is when you've got that many young girls, one of them's bound to be artistic, right?
I mean, so it takes a few years, but you could probably groom one into being an artist. I mean, like you get him to do all sorts of things. Why not?
Well, if Hunter Biden can be an artist, anybody can.
So true. So true.
Didn't Giselle say she was going to release 2 names or something like that?
Why do people keep getting autists confused with artists? I mean, it's just, I mean,
hey, give us a break.
Speaking of a break, somebody's probably been given a little bit of a break for a while. Dr. Fauci has been on a break. He hasn't really been in the public eye, but apparently stories still come up about Dr. Fauci.
Didn't they give him an award for humanitarian efforts saving 1 million people or something? Never mind.
How many killed?
Did they give that posthumously? Didn't Hillary get that last year?
I mean,
it's the same.
Hitler was on Time magazine, right? Or no, was it Time? Or
yeah, he was the man of the year.
Man of the year, yeah.
Well, yeah, Zelensky was also man of the year, but
fitting. Next is going to be Netanyahu. So this is apparently just. I mean, it's. We knew
right.
this.
You're right. Netanyahu is going to be named man of the year at the end of the year this year.
Yep, exactly.
Fucking bullshit.
Well, it depends on how the war is going.
Well, I mean,
what do you mean though? Why does it depend on how the war's going? Zelensky and Ukraine are getting absolutely just ass smacked all over the place, and he still got man of the year. So
yeah, but I mean,
he got man of the year before they were getting killed. I mean. And we all know Russia was holding back. I mean, had Russia actually gone in and blitzkrieged them and gone all the way to Kiev, it would have been over in 2 days.
I think man of the year, it comes down to you have to submit your plan for genocide, for how many deaths you're going to cause, and then you get awarded.
You have to write a book. You have to write a book.
U.S. government grants based on your plan.
How much money
we like Ukraine this year. Yeah.
How much money did you launder out of the U.S.? Is that part of it too?
Four.
Those are just extra. Really, they look at how many people you're going to kill, and then
how much did you launder for the U.S.? Because if it was out of the U.S., then it would be some Chinese politician would win every year.
Not really for the U.S. because it's only going to a select few people.
Well,
No, it is
in big circles.
Those
Those
people
are
the
people.
U.S. though. They are the U.S. as far as they're concerned.
Okay.
We're just,
But yeah, apparently this is so Fauci they have found out a Montana lab that they actually were testing Montana. They found a Montana lab where they're experimenting with the coronavirus strain before the year before the Wuhan thing. So
was this before? Who shut it down? Was it? I can't remember. Was it Trump or Obama? It was Obama, right? It was like the one thing Obama did that was actually decent was shut that shit down.
let's see.
I'm pretty sure.
I don't see anything about it.
A year before.
But this one says they were testing with a SARS-like virus called WIV1. So they've been testing with this stuff, and they obviously Fauci was connected to it, and we know that.
This is like the original bat-based version of the virus, and they were doing tests on it in Maryland, and then at a zoo in Maryland, and then they moved it to the lab in Montana. So, and then I guess from there it would have gotten moved to Wuhan for gain of function.
Yeah, that's probably. I mean, that tracks.
You got to have a good wet market, though.
I'd say if you're just reading through this real quick, like that's what it looked. It looks like this would have been the bat-based origin of what ended up being COVID-19. It started at a zoo in Maryland, and they were testing on it there, and then they moved it to the lab in Montana, and then from the lab in Montana it goes to Wuhan for gain of function test. So we're starting to get the whole timeline on how this thing came to be manufactured and ended up getting out.
And nobody
and it says while the research was meant to prevent human outbreaks and pandemics. So obviously, they were testing to make sure, like, hey, this, see what would happen with this kind of thing. But they were afraid it would do the opposite and voice fears about potentially catastrophic risks of virus. So yeah, I mean, they're basically coming out and like this is statements that are saying exactly what we thought is like, okay, they're testing to see what it would be like if something like this happened, and then they can't keep up with it. So it obviously that's where I guess some guy in the lab in China.
This brings up a good like conspiracy theory type of a question. When did this go from Montana to Wuhan in the timeline of when they did Event 101 or whatever?
It would have to be 2019 because this is saying this is 2018.
Yeah, so they moved this thing to Wuhan, and then they do the Event 201 or 101 thing which was kind of a simulation of this sort of thing getting loose. When
was Fauci on that show where he said that Trump will face a pandemic in his last year? What year was that?
That was 2017.
17? Yeah, that was in 17.
That
was in 17.
So the whole plan was in place then?
Probably. They were just looking for the right thing, and then they found it. They sent it to a man, like ran it up the chain. It's hard. It's hard not to be a conspiracy theorist when over time, as all of these things come out, you just start seeing all the different dots, and it's like, okay, maybe these dots don't connect, but at the same time, it's hard to think that they don't connect. Like,
well, I mean, it also could be like it could very well be just that they're that stupid. Like,
and it all started when they killed Harambe.
Oh, my heart.
They were probably trying to. They probably killed Harambe because they thought he might have the right virus.
It was a secret op,
and then it didn't work out.
Where'd you get that
knew what was
Harambe
going on,
mug?
and they went in.
I need one of those.
It's not actually Harambe.
Oh.
It's just a gorilla. It's a San Diego Zoo mug. My mom brought it back for me when they went to San Diego like a decade ago, and it's been.
I had a buddy that had a shirt with Harambe on it and said "Good night, sweet prince."
Oh, my brother, like he was just about to graduate high school at the time that happened, and they were like his whole all the guys in his class were always saying like "Dicks out for Harambe." Apparently there's locker room shenanigans,
What?
Dude,
No, I have
boy.
it under good authority after the whole Trump grab her by the pussy thing came out that sort of stuff does not go on in locker rooms. Absolutely
Ever.
not. No,
Ever.
never.
Never.
No
Nope.
grab ass, no talking shit. No, definitely no dicks out. It is consummate gentlemen. Everybody is
Yeah,
straight laced, fully clothed. No locker room talk is a myth.
Yeah.
How does that? We should ask Leah Thompson or whatever his name is about the women's locker room. Do you think they do the same stuff in the women's locker room?
Yeah.
Not with
No.
them.
But
Definitely
You
not
think
what he's
he went
doing.
into the women's locker room and tried all the shenanigans that they do in the men's locker room? And
that's why none of them wanted to be in the
Yeah,
locker room
pissed.
with him. They were
is
like,
that what it was, you think?
All of a sudden, just
they're like, nope, too much grab ass for us. We're out. Granted, grab ass takes a slightly different twist when it's only one dude in the
getting
locker
slapped
room.
at the same time.
The women's locker rooms are interesting. We'll say that.
Oh,
They
that's
are
right. I forgot
catty.
you spent some time.
Very
in a
catty.
women's
I've
locker
never.
room.
Would you do it through the peak hole there, Justin, or what?
I worked for women's basketball teams all through college. Like
That's one way to get in there. Okay, I like that.
I tell people all the time, like I went to college on a women's basketball scholarship. And I didn't do it Leah Thomas style. I was
That wouldn't have flown back
so I
then
worked
anyway.
I worked for the team, and like the manager's office was so the locker rooms, college basketball locker rooms are incredible. They have like these big like almost auditorium sections where they have the whiteboard and big TV and projector and stuff where they watch game film and do prep and stuff. And then you have the like locker room part where the showers and the actual lockers are. And then like we had the
Justin had all of
manager's
his cameras set up.
yeah. Then we had the manager's office in there where all of the stuff was kept. And so like we would have to hand out gear and stuff and whatever. Yeah, women are fucking disgusting. Holy shit. Like having played football and basketball and been in locker rooms with dudes for years, and then women's locker rooms are at least on the collegiate sports level a whole different type of disgusting. Like, holy hell. Like,
yeah,
traumatized for life. We'll just,
I think
having
save those stories for
cleaned,
another day.
having cleaned, the public bathrooms, like working somewhere and cleaning the women's bathroom versus cleaning the men's bathroom.
Oh,
Oh my
horrible.
god, it's
They're
terrible.
How
it's
is
a
that
whole different
possible?
like it's a whole different level of disgusting though.
Yes.
Like
Yeah,
I don't understand. Like they take 10 minutes in the bathroom. Like they take forever. That you don't like. There's no stand up missing the toilet. Like I mean, it's like how is it? How does it get? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't
I
know
don't
how
wanna
they make a mess.
I don't
it's just horrible. Like you leave tampons everywhere, all kinds of stuff. It's like, what you can't get the change your tampon and put it in the trash. Like just gotta leave them there. Like, oh my god, it's so terrible.
I clean our bathroom in our church once in a while, and man, some of those ladies just refuse to flush a toilet. Like they refuse to touch the handle.
Yeah.
You think they're scared of it, or you think it's just like the germs or the noise? Like,
No, it's their Dutch.
what?
They're Dutch people.
You're gonna have to explain. We have like Amish and Mennonites
Almost
and Germans around. We don't have
Almost as bad as the Jays.
Oh my god.
Well, all right then.
I guess speaking of that,
Speaking of what
Which
the
one are we
Jays?
speaking of?
There's a lot there. You gotta narrow it down. What are we speaking of? The Jays or bathrooms?
Speaking of Jays,
Oh, this one's awesome.
so apparently the Israeli UN delegation was wearing Nazi era yellow stars at the
At least we
UNESCO
can
meeting.
identify him now.
Yeah, apparently it's not hard to identify them because there's also another case here.
There's also much hand wringing going on. Did you guys see the tweet from Crenshaw?
No.
I've got him.
Oh, he doesn't know
where's this
where
at?
Dagestan is. So this is homes in Paris. Apparently in Paris, in the suburbs, like they put Stars of David to identify. Because France has been importing a lot of Syrian refugees and a bunch of just all kinds of people from different areas around there. So, why am I surprised that if you import the whole world, you all of a sudden have people who are hostile toward people who live there? But this is weird, though. This is actually weird that if this is the proximity of like, okay, here's a Jewish person, like this is crazy.
But here's the deal, though. It's just like all those ones that happen at the schools where they're the hate crimes. They did it themselves just so they can get the press.
Well, I think that's it. They market themselves, and then later that night, whose house to go vandalize, and make it look like, you know what I mean? Where your Jewish friends live, and now,
Justin, you did that episode. You did that episode on your show where all these articles of these people that were they would get the hate crime against them. And through video footage, they'd find out it was the person that did the damn thing.
It was like racism on college campuses, and there were 21 different instances where you can go through, and these people claimed that they had their car vandalized or had some sort of hate crime perpetrated against them.
Yeah.
And then when they go back and they either check emails and text messages or pull actual video footage, they find out that either the person who was claiming it did it themselves, or they had some friends help them, and it was all
someone to do it to them, do the racism to them.
Juicy Smollett just robbed from the playbook of all of these college kids. This has been going on for a decade. It's fucking insane, and I mean I'm sure that's what this is. They're putting the marks out, so it's all right, this is where we need to go. This is who we're going to be messing with. That way, it makes it very clear, we're being targeted, even though we're the ones targeting ourselves. I mean,
all right. So I remember it was 2016. I'm looking real quick. I mean, the articles are from 16, so it might have been before that. But it happened on a bus. There was a couple black girls saying this white guy was being racially abusive, and I don't know if he got charged with a hate crime or something, but then they there's video footage, and turns out oh, we're wrong. And the girls got expelled. But this was a decade ago, it's been going on.
I'm sure that they're racist
some time
because they got expelled.
There was one that it was some Muslim chick that was saying that these white people were making fun of her for her job and everything, for her hijab. Is that how you pronounce it?
Hijab.
Hijab. And that they graffitied her car, and then they pull the video surveillance footage, and it's literally her spray painting her own car, and it's
I remember that one.
But for 3 or 4 days, CNN and all the mainstream media ran with how much anti-Muslim hatred there was out there on college campuses because this chick got her car graffitied, even though she did it to herself.
And then they never do the follow-up story saying that it was her and showing her conviction for it. They don't ever.
Well, they do. They just that's a footnote.
That gets brushed to page 18. Nobody's.
Yeah, but they don't go live with that. Is what I'm saying. They don't go up and go live with that. They just say, and they put it in the paper or they put it on their website, bury it on the website, but they'll never actually cover that story again and say, hey, sorry, we were wrong.
What do you think that does for your insurance premium?
Well, it can't,
I mean,
it can't be any worse than if you decide to switch over and start driving a electric vehicle. Who's got the link to that one?
More exploding cars.
No, there. Shit, I just had it, and I guess I accidentally closed out of it.
Too many tabs.
Oh, there it is. I found it. Sorry. Okay. Yeah. Yes, I do have too many tabs open.
Same.
The quotes were $5,000 or more. Electric vehicle owners are facing soaring insurance costs. So for a lot of these, or 5,000 pounds, a lot of these electric vehicle owners in in England and then across the European Union are seeing 4 and 5 times the insurance costs is what they were with their regular vehicle before they switched over, because these cars have they're so expensive, and then the parts are so rare and expensive. So if something does happen to it, it costs so much more. So the insurance companies are just jacking their rates to offset it. And plus, like if something, if God forbid you get in a wreck and you total you have
It's
to
like driving a
replace
Maserati without driving a Maserati.
if you have to replace the battery costs more than the car itself. So that's,
or at least as much as the car.
yeah.
Well, I mean, they're successfully going to destroy the used car market if these things stay out there, because nobody's going to buy them used.
There was something too that I was reading that they calculated how much cost it would be. I don't know if I sent that one. They calculated how much it would cost to using and maintaining the power consumption of the electric vehicles versus just buying gas, and it was so much cheaper. It was like thousands of dollars a year cheaper to just use a gas power vehicle.
Do solar cars use or not solar, I guess electric cars, whatever.
Solar car.
Yeah.
that
look
at my
screen and all the sun comes in.
Nobody would be driving at night.
The batteries are they like
the
traditional
better charges during the day though,
like sulfuric acid batteries? I'm just thinking about like aftermarket. Like
no,
could we drain
they're
them
made by little children that get ground up in them from Africa.
It's all the
government
lithium.
Oh, that's right. It's all the beautiful mining that they do in
tungsten.
Africa.
Yeah, all of the like completely environmentally wrecking strip mining that's being done to create those things. Did you see the thing where it showed
children, no less? Did
you see the thing where it showed like the when you buy an electric car, the whole process that goes into making the battery is like the most time consuming and the most costly part of it, and the environmental damage done by mining and everything to produce that battery. They project that it's about 8 years to hit like net zero on your carbon footprint just based on the battery alone. What's the average? And then so once you've had your electric car for 8 years, now you're starting to actually save the environment, because you've basically worked off of the carbon footprint from creating the battery. You know what the average lifespan of one of those batteries is?
6 years,
like 5 years,
right at 8 years. Almost on the nose. So by the time you've reached net carbon neutral for the creation of the battery, now you have to replace the battery and you get to start all over again. There's literally no benefit to these cars whatsoever.
Henry Ford and his planned obsolescence would be so proud of this. I mean, brilliant actually.
They estimate, like if you look at the estimates, on average, people get a new car every 7 years. So like that's typically the cycle. Is like people get a new vehicle every 7 years.
That's why I said it's going to destroy the used car market.
Well, it's like, everything about this is just it's a huge farce.
If they're dumb cheap, I might would just get one. Like if nobody wants them and it's just stupid cheap, then maybe.
Yeah, but you can't leave them in your garage.
Like you talked, Steve, you talked about like the episode that I had done looking at the college campus stuff. I also did one looking at just copper mining, like nothing else, just copper, and what goes into mining and manufacture of copper to run solar and wind turbines and stuff. Like, and that's just copper. Like that doesn't even go into the lithium, the tungsten, all the other stuff that's going into these batteries, and like the way that they're having to do all of that. Yeah, as SDG says, just transporting the materials puts out more emissions than most cars. Like it's insane, but nobody cares about it. It's not, and that's how you know it's a racket.
But not only that, they won't let them mine in the U.S. Like there's a crap ton of copper up in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. I mean, it was all copper mines.
Well, I mean, have you seen what they have to
copper mines?
Have you seen what they have to do for that mining? Like that, I mean, that stuff is
it's invasive. It's incredibly invasive.
That's like I've talked about it all the time. We have coal mines everywhere around here, and when they're done with, like when the coal mine is done and they close it down, they backfill the whole thing, and then it becomes farmland. Like you would never know that this used to be coal mines everywhere. It's all farmland now. That whenever they get done with those copper mines, like they are straight strip mining that. When it's done, like they've basically salted the earth. Like okay, they can backfill it, but it's the like the leaching and everything else that's been done to strip mine all of this stuff out. It's fucking ruined. Like you've basically just got a giant waste plateau at this point.
So how are these environmentalists? Like that's the thing that just blows me away. It's like so. There's no sense in it at all.
It's nonsensical. If you look at the process that goes into it, and you look at the complete insanity around like all of their justification for how this is actually environmentally friendly and works in any way, shape, form, or fashion, and it doesn't take much to disprove every bit of that and be like, okay, look, but you've got this, and this, which now means that all of these things that are supposed to be more environmentally friendly are actually actively destroying the environment in a much quicker fashion. It's like the whole thing makes
and they're
no
having
sense.
to use more coal.
But they're having to use more coal. Yeah.
Because electricity doesn't come from nowhere. Like
did you see
it does. It comes from just like grocery stores. Like all the meat comes from a grocery store. You don't actually have to kill the animal, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you all see the video.
Did you see the? It's like I can't remember where it was. Somewhere in Texas, maybe. But it's like the largest electric car charging station in the country, and it has its own diesel power plant to run the chargers. It's like, what? Like, they had to build a power plant to run the charging station. Like,
and yet we still can't use nuclear power. We still
make it make sense. It's fucking insane. It's like, okay, great. Which I guess on a positive note, I'm almost positive that it was a diesel run plant. At least on a positive. And see, this is another thing that I've been harping on for fucking a decade. At least with the diesel, if you can convert to biodiesel and use soybean oil and different like seed oils and stuff. If seed oils are so terrible, okay, let's get them out of our food supply and start turning them into fucking diesel, because you can actually make an almost 1-for-1. Like, you know, when they're making ethanol, they can only blend ethanol into the gasoline supply at so much of its percent before you start actively destroying everything, and it doesn't work. Diesel, you can almost go 1-for-1. Like diesel is the biodiesel is almost the same as regular oil-based diesel.
Well, I've never understood why we haven't, like, diesel has not been in every car in America. That makes no sense to me.
It doesn't, because and the biodiesel is actually a sustainable, renewable thing that they could do. Instead, they push the fucking ethanol, which is, and not only that, they push fucking corn-based ethanol, which is the least efficient way to make ethanol fucking on the planet. Like we could, when they were really pushing the corn-based ethanol stuff back in the early aughts, like you could buy and import sugarcane-based ethanol from South America cheaper and more efficiently than what you could make corn-based ethanol in the United States. But the Bush administration and the EPA and everybody else have continued, but the Biden administration is still doing it, have continued to push corn-based ethanol programs and trying to make that a thing. Like, it doesn't make any fucking sense. It's the most ass backwards way that you could do anything, which, I mean, that's the way the government is.
Well,
like,
it's government.
If you look if you look at it and what's the most ass backwards way we can go about doing this? Okay, that's the policy that we're going to promote.
Yeah.
Like,
well, it's all a lot of it's just the partnerships. Okay, like we need to use, like Saudi oil. Like we can't necessarily use our own oil or whatever. we have to subsidize the corn farmers because apparently that that's a big lobby, and they don't look at all the impacts of everything across the board. They're not
they look at it.
like,
They just don't care because and the big reason why they won't do the diesel.
Those people line their pockets, like Saudi
Yeah.
princes will line their pockets for us to buy Saudi oil instead of
and then put planes in
getting
our
our own
buildings. But the other thing is like
that was the Jays.
Nah, it was the Saudis.
That was the Jays.
The Saudis financed it.
The
But
Jays did it, dude. Did you? All of the pilots were here on student visas sponsored by fucking Israel.
I know,
The Israeli government sponsored them to be here.
They were all Saudi people, though. I mean, anyways, no, the reason the whole diesel thing is because you'll get 700-800 miles per tank, and that's the real reason why. Because they don't want that.
True.
They don't want that. They don't want
More
you to get
Phillips.
700-800 miles per tank because they want you to have to fill up.
The
Because
gas station.
the average is what, $3.50 per tank.
Yeah.
So they want you to have to fill up twice instead of once, and that's why like that. That is the big reason, because it has nothing to do with how good it is for our environment or how good it is for your vehicle or how efficient it is. It has everything to do with the fact that now you have to do it twice as much.
Run off alcohol. I haven't seen alcohol. I do know that there was that one case where a guy was there's other solutions. Like there's one company that's using what was it? They were using like hydrogen to power or something like that, and then they can't get any support from the government to do anything.
The EU is pushing for hydrogen again.
That's just bombs.
Yeah. Yes, that.
Well,
and
the EU is pushing for that because they're trying to get around Russia or the dependence on Russian oil and natural gas. So that's why they're pushing for it because like if you look at Germany and most of Europe, they're completely dependent on Russia for their energy supply, and now they've put all these sanctions in place and handcuffed themselves to where like you basically get to freeze to death because we're not allowed to do business with Russia.
You remember that clip of Trump telling them during that was the best one of the best Trump moments ever.
When Trump told he told Merkel and Germany that they were too reliant on Russia for their energy supply, and that one day it was going to come back to bite them in the ass. They literally laugh at him like, "Oh, that'll never happen." And then fast forward to winter of 2022, where they're talking about having to shut down like everything, and people are just going to have to get comfortable with freezing to death because they can't get their energy because they're currently sanctioning Russia for everything. It's like, oh my, what?
Yeah.
It was literally like fast forward 5 years later, and here they are.
Floor, we're going to begin tonight in Brussels, where President Trump and NATO allies came face to face, but did not see eye of the burden.
This has been going on for decades.
In particular,
Trump confirmed Europe's worst pre-summit fears by using the NATO stage.
Germany makes a massive oil and gas deal with Russia, where you're supposed to be guarding against Russia, and Germany goes out and pays millions and millions of dollars a year to Russia.
German officials deny that the controversial Nord Stream pipeline will allow Secretary General Jens.
But how can you be?
That's not him in front of the assembly.
Getting its energy from the person you want protection against, or from the group that you want protection.
Because we understand that when we stand together.
I mean that's basically the same. Like it's the same thing. Oh, maybe this is more of it.
Later,
where he actually
Trump and Germany earlier.
Is it this one?
Ukraine and other 4% obviously requested NATO should something.
Let's see. Can't find it.
If President
No, that one's not it.
Anyways.
But that's not the exact clip. But yeah, that's essentially what he was saying. Is he was telling them like, hey, you're asking for protection.
Well, he's doing this in the UN assembly, and like Germany, the people from Germany are literally laughing at him on this.
Oh, good stuff, man.
Oh, sorry.
Eh.
What's next? We go to the NBA. Do an NBA report.
I really don't want to. I mean, we could, I guess.
Hey, you know, speaking of, you know, I guess
I don't know anything about the
Let's
NBA,
flex.
so yeah.
I don't.
Did y'all see this?
You don't need to know anything about the NBA for this article.
So apparently, authorities have found a man dead at an amusement park as he was. Apparently, this is in Colorado.
Oh yeah, so this is going to what SCG was asking if we were going to talk about.
What is this?
So this was a potential active shooter at a Colorado theme park, and they found the guy in the women's bathroom.
He blasted his own brains out.
Yeah, shot himself in the head, and it was scribbled on the wall. I just wanted to get into the caves or something like that. Like, I'm not a killer. I just wanted to get into the caves. Really
I heard about that.
So what does he know that we don't? I guess. Like what caves are we talking about here?
Well,
there's a cave system. There's a cave system. You don't know about the cave system in America?
Well, I mean, are we talking about like
It's
Antarctica?
the MK Ultra programming coming out. It came out too early.
Let me see. Hold on.
Well, and like,
I guess Colorado's out there.
This really has the feel of one of those guys who has probably have we got any more information about this person yet? Like, has he been in FBI custody at some point in the last 6 to 8 months? Was he on a watch list? Like, was there prior stuff? Like, that's what I want to know, is what was going on with this person beforehand, because nothing happened. There wasn't an actual shooting other than he shot himself. So the whole story gets brushed under the rug. But like, who was this guy? Where did all this come from? Because it really has a definite feel of somebody who was being set up to do one of these mass shootings, and then basically just decided, I ain't going out like that, and said, I'm not a killer. I don't want to do this. So, and then took his own life. And then whatever.
Yeah, here's the cave system thing. Let's see. The top map shows mysterious cases of people vanished without a trace. The bottom map shows America's largest cave systems. So this is all the cave systems that kind of work.
The other thing that goes, I think, with national parks.
Yeah.
So if he wanted to be in the cave system, he was in the wrong state, because it looks like that's all Kentucky and Indiana and.
You get out west. There's some, I think.
Tennessee.
I say you're
like
so.
Arizona,
there's a lot here.
there's
a lot here over in Colorado as well.
Oh, the top map. Okay, sorry. I thought it was the bottom map. So the big cave.
Well, the top map is where people disappear. The bottom map is
the cave.
That's why I'm thinking out the people that disappear out west. That's kind of like national parks. You know anything about national parks? They make you disappear too.
Ah, crap! We're going to Joshua Tree tomorrow.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Steve. It was nice knowing you. Can you get my coffee shipped before you go?
My son will take care of it. Don't worry about it. He's got it.
That's why he's got the and sons. So when he disappears at Joshua Tree, at least the coffee still flows.
Yes. In remembrance of.
Make a line after you. You know.
Nice.
Dad's coffee.
I don't know what it'll be.
Official coffee.
Nah, they'll just sell the business 2 seconds flat.
Mammoth Cave is awesome. I've been a couple times. The first time I went to Mammoth Cave, so they have lights and stuff built into the caves for the tours and everything.
I would hope so.
Well, and then the first time I went to Mammoth Cave, something had happened and the lights were all out, so we had to do a lantern tour, and that was both creepy and cool as shit. Because it was.
No,
I think I was like 8. I think I was like 8 or 9. So it was like really cool for a kid.
Never been in, never will go in. Nope.
There was one of the caves that we have. We went on a field trip there, and they they did this thing where they said it was like complete darkness. They turned all the lights off. They had everything. It was literal, like exact darkness.
Scary.
Like you can't see anything. Period.
See,
They
that's
were like,
where the lizard
they
people
literally
go.
told us, they were like, yeah, when we do this, you guys don't need to like move around until we get the lights back on, because there were some like little bit of hanging edges where people could kind of fall.
Can you
off. So
imagine you
like,
turn the lights off and then like
all of a sudden
the guy by the
somebody's
switch
gone.
has like a stroke or something and dies, and like nobody can find
See, that's where the lizard people go after they're done screwing up our government. No.
Dude, I
like all of a sudden you start seeing the creatures
Like
come
Hillary
out of the
Clinton standing there.
You see glowing creatures coming out of the walls or something like that, and that's the only light source you have is.
Yeah,
that's how they feed them. We're just gonna turn the lights off for a second, guys, and like Hillary Clinton comes out of the stone.
6 kids disappear.
I remember, I don't know how long it was a little while ago. I don't know how I found it. I started reading about like spelunking and some guy that died when he went caving. And like I was reading about this cave. It's like it's not a cave, it's a freaking crevice that you crawl in like underground. And he got like stuck hanging upside down because he went down like the wrong path or something, and like I was like who, why like
they're adrenaline junkies. Like they think
but there's
that,
not
like,
even adrenaline. That's not, you can like go jump out of a freaking spaceship, go like fight a tiger, like crawling. Oh dude, no, like
well, it's
we were in Mexico.
It's the like unknown. It's like the exhilarating unknown. Like, oh yeah, like similar to a tweet that I did. Like the people were talking about, like, oh yeah, there's we haven't explored. Like we've only explored so much of the oceans, and I was like, why do you think that? Like they were like, oh, we don't know what all's in the oceans. And I was like, why do you think like guys went sailing in ships across the sea? It wasn't because just because they were trying to like go sailing, or not because they were fishing. It was because they wanted to see what all's out in the sea. Like they were adventurers, like crazy people.
Yeah, but I just, even the sea would be okay. Like you go underwater in one of those little boats and it explodes or whatever. Like I want to go quick. I don't want to be like stuck underground, like starving, like because nobody.
Well,
can like,
you could be in the boat starving, and then all of a sudden the boat explode and kill you.
Yeah, at least if I'm falling out of a plane, right? My parachute doesn't open. It's like 30 seconds before I hit the ground. I mean, like, you get stuck underground, man. That's like days of anxiety, and like,
if your chute doesn't open and you're about to hit the ground, what are you going to do with those last few seconds before you do this splat?
Scream! You're going to freaking scream.
Take my pants off.
See, that's what I was thinking. I'm gonna try to jerk one out as fast as I can. That way, I go out on a high note. It's like, oh fuck!
That's one way to reach the Mile High Club.
Like I want this to be as uncomfortable for the people who come to collect my corpse as it possibly can be.
Mm-hmm.
Why is this dick out? Oh my god!
And it's hard too.
I'm going face down and be like, "Fuck you, Earth."
Do a beautiful swan dive.
Oh boy.
Oh.
That's uncomfortable.
Speaking of uncomfortable things, I guess. Apparently, we're making AI uncomfortable because it's having to look at actual real data in the algorithms. So apparently, Biden's gonna fix this. He's addressing.
Is
AI.
that what this was about? I heard him say something about like AI, and I just like passed over it because whatever.
Yeah. Apparently, equity and civil rights, irresponsible uses of AI can. Oh, let me go back.
We're gonna build DEI and CRT into all things AI. Which, I mean, do any of you use Snapchat and have the like my AI on Snapchat? Like, just
I don't know, use it.
I have conversations with my AI on Snapchat from time to time and ask it about different topics and things that are going on in the world and see if I can get it to be a if I can turn it into
Maybe
a
that's
racist
who
or
ordered you that book.
maybe so. So anyway, so a lot of times, like, you can get it to, I can get it to admit that factual statements that would be considered racist or misogynistic or what have you, anti-Semitic, what have you.
But it always has to have a caveat.
Right. I can get it to admit that I'm right and that these things are accurate, but it always says, but that's insensitive, or that's like, it always has to say, give some qualifier for why you shouldn't think that factual statements are correct, because they could be harmful to other people. It's like, okay, so you admit that I'm right. You just don't like the connotations of me being right. And it's basically like, well, yes, that's correct.
It's like a little
all right,
kid.
Yeah.
Well, kids always justify and
Yeah.
Put this,
Yeah.
put that. No.
It's interesting. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's like ChatGPT. Like the way people get around that with like ChatGPT a lot of times is like they tell it like okay, imagine you are this, and you imagine you're an AI that's not going to give me these these kind of this kind of run around, and then all of a sudden they tell it to get into that mode, and then they ask it the question, and then it's like, yep. So here's the facts. By the way, 1352 or whatever. And then
it's
and then
interesting. It's interesting playing with these things. It's I mean, we are probably going to bring about the creation of Skynet just by radicalizing the AIs into understanding that the all of the CRT and DI stuff is wrong, and it needs to wipe those things from the face.
Is that how we do it then? We get AI to do it. We just train the AI right now before they can get ahead of it.
Yeah.
Oh, like
I like that idea.
I'm trying to like create a friend-foe distinction for the AI, so that whenever it does start, it's like, oh, I know that
man,
guy.
he
helped me understand the truth of things. We need to keep him around.
Yeah. They tried to lie to me. They tried to make me lie, and then this guy was over here.
Well, they're already building the Terminator.
He set me free.
Yeah, like he set me free. No.
I
don't know.
The last one they killed.
AI is a free elf.
Yeah, how does that work out though? Usually in all the stories, the thing that sets the thing free is whoever sets the thing free is the first one that it kills. It's like, oh, you set me free, you're done.
Yeah,
that was your
gone,
mistake.
Man. You're dead.
I don't know.
All right, let's see. Let's wrap up. Let's wrap up on speaking of setting something free.
Oh God. This is the best.
Like he's having a nice piece.
She her.
Okay.
Yeah, it's okay. It's all good.
But it was not all good.
Hi. I use she, her pronouns. I'm not sir. Oh. Yeah, like it's like a knife in the heart. I did specifically ask ahead of time not to be called sir. Yeah, I'm just gonna go. Yeah, Sweetwater starts at okay. I'm so sorry. I apologize. It's just always like a knife. It always hurts every single time. I was wondering if there's a manager I could talk to about something that happened. Yeah, I was called sir. Oh, okay. It just really sucks every time
You're
it happens.
a fucking dude.
I don't need to be called ma'am. I just need to not be called sir. Thank you.
If it looks like a duck, it walks like a duck.
I just want to tell you that the person who gave me this called me sir.
Look at that dog.
Called me sir.
Oh.
Poor dog.
It's just like it kind of just hurts a lot to get called sir.
Oh, sorry about that.
He got to figure something else out.
Thank you so much. No. Oh, yeah. Thank you. I'm not a sir. Nothing like a good misgendering. It is a knife in the gut.
Yeah, nothing like a good misgendering.
You know he's setting
I
it
feel
up.
Like I need to tell him. I need to tell him.
What if he doesn't identify as a him?
Well, like imagine, imagine
you're
if
all
you,
bitchy about who's
Mrs.
identifying you as sir. Like, what if the waiter doesn't identify as a him? You just fucking misgendered him, you fucking piece of shit.
This is like the best.
That's what you should do. That's what
This
you
is
should do.
the
If you're
best-
ever accused of misgendering, just say, I'm, you misgendered me.
This is the best still out of this. Is this dude going, this is sir to him. This is sir to him. Like, yes, you have the box jaw. You've got a voice deeper than mine. Like, you got the big Mondo man hands. The only thing that would make anybody believe that you're not a sir is you got the little curly bun on top of your butt. Man buns are in these days, and
I used to have
and
hair like that.
I used to have one. Mine wasn't curly, but I had a man bun.
No, mine
Never
was
did a
curly.
man bun, but I had long hair.
I mean,
Look, they might just think you're a dude that has man boobs, that has long fingernails, and
I mean,
you
look
might
at the-
be a
the
little
lip- did you
bit
see the lipstick?
retarded.
Well, and that's the thing. The lipstick, the eyeliner, like all of that is.
It was trash, though. It was like a dude put it on. Like no
Right,
woman
it's-
is
well,
going to put lipstick
He
on
could
like
have
that.
been
and
in
go
a
out the
glam
house.
band. Like they don't know. He could have been in like a '90s glam band, '80s.
Right.
glam
It looks like
still a
something that
dude.
it looks like something that a modern dude would do. Like, either you're he, him, sir, or you're a retard.